Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the News at 10 broadcasting on Channel Television live from Lagos. A reminder of our main stories. President Muhammad Buhari says his government will not spare treasury looters, says suspects to end up in court. The president to step up anti-terrorism war, says the federal government may have to ban wearing of hijab if suicide bombings continue. DSS again arrests Colonel Samba Dasuki minutes after being released from Kuje prisons in Abuja today. Kano State government considers amnesty for cattle rustlers. And government and rebels battle for the control of some strategic towns in southern Syria. We now bring you some of the pictures you sent to our eyewitness portal. First is this one from Kaduna City in Kaduna State, showing a saloon car going against traffic. Our eyewitness reporter says this lawless act is common in the city, and men of the Federal Road Safety Corps should do more to check this impunity. Next is this one from Egbe in Kogi State, showing a truck with an excessive carbon emission. Our eyewitness reporter wants men of the State Environmental Protection Agency to ensure that motorists comply with environmental laws. We also have this one from Ibadan in Oyo State, showing refuse on a motorway. Our reporter says rather than planting trees, the people are littering the streets with dirt, and the State Minister of Environment should act pretty fast. Finally is this one from Ikorodu in Lagos State, showing a school building in a state of disrepair. Our eyewitness reporter says this is the current state of some public primary schools in the state, and the government should pay more attention to primary education and school infrastructure. Well, thank you for sending in those pictures, and I urge you to keep them coming. Nigerians are already commenting on the president's media chart. During the program, the president said that he will tackle corruption, and also those who have looted the treasury will end up in court. He also said he's not in support of the devaluation of the nation's currency, and that his position on the currency market remains, and that is still open to finding the Chibok girls. Joining me now to comment on the president's submission is an elder statesman and also a former presidential candidate of the National Advance Party, NAP, Dr. Tunji Braithwaite. Thanks for joining us on the News at 10. You listened to the president for about 2 hours. Let's begin with the issue of corruption. Are you satisfied with his response?
Yes. Now, first and foremost, I saw President Buhari. It was quite natural, which was, to me, that's very significant. He didn't try to pretend to be anything or anybody other than himself. He had no complex at all about him. That's very good. Now, as to your question, whether he handled the issue of corruption satisfactorily, the answer is no, from my own point of view. You see, because his party has made a major political issue of corruption, and he has made the Nigerian people to have great expectation that at least something is going to be done drastically about corruption, which has held this country down for so long, without which this nation cannot make progress. At some point, he was even trying to defend, if I can, unwittingly, the weakness of the Nigerian judicial system or the Nigerian corruption to tackle corruption. You see, this is one thing that I find. On the other hand, there is this question, which, to my mind, you see, no matter how a president may be ready and willing, to do his best for this country, but the Nigerian Constitution is an hindrance to him. And this brings me to the question that I don't see any significant progress being made in this country unless we revert to the parliamentary system, or have regionalism. I'll give you an example of his weakness in that respect. This issue of the National Assembly profligacy, wanting to spend about 50 billion naira on exotic cars. Now, President Buhari said that he was quite alarmed by that audacity. He also told us that that in the executive he did his best to cut down the excess in respect of these unnecessary wasteful vehicles, and he did go further to say that he would rather make savings in that respect so as to invest on capital projects, infrastructure. But he showed his helplessness in regard to the National Assembly profligacy. Now that's very annoying, and that cannot be accepted by the Nigerian people. He said, that he could not do anything about the National Assembly profligacy.
In other words,
and this brings me again to the fact that no matter who the president is, the Nigerian people must still be at their, at their guard, to deal ruthlessly with any public official, who might not only be corrupt, but flaunting the corruption before their face. I read an editorial this morning in the Guardian condemning this National Assembly wanting to buy 100 land cruisers and all those exotic cars.
Let's look at Dr. Braithwaite very quickly.
How could they dare?
Very quickly, let's move on to
in the
another.
face of the mass poverty, hunger in this country. So the president cannot do anything about that.
Leaving that very quickly, Dr. Braithwaite, let's move on to...
In the final analysis, we might have to go back.
Let's move on to another issue, Dr. Braithwaite, if you can hear me. I'm afraid there are other issues that the president also touched on. Remember, he also spoke about the army-Shite dispute and said that the issue is still being investigated. How would you have loved to see this resolved?
The army what?
The Shite-army clash in Kaduna State.
I didn't hear you very well.
The president also spoke on the dispute between the Nigerian army and the Muslim brothers in Kaduna State called the Shite group. And he says that particular issue is being investigated at the moment. How would you love to see that resolved?
That's a very, very serious issue, which if not handled carefully, could erupt into another thing. Because when you're talking about this Shiite versus Sunni confrontation in the north, you can see that President Buhari himself, from his body language, realized that it is a very sensitive issue, and that is why he says that he would rather wait for the report of the Kaduna State government investigation. So what do you want me to say about that?
Very quickly here, before I let you off, there's something that has to do with the economy, the devaluation of the naira, and the state at which a lot of people have been put to the extent that they really can't do business with their cards. The president's response to that was he would love to hear from the CBN. What do you think about the questions posed to him and his answers, which borders on CBN's giving reasons why that should be or shouldn't be.
No. The president answered that very well. If you understand what was trying to say, is that if you devalue naira, then you make Nigerian goods cheaper for foreigners to buy us cheap, and he didn't see in what way that helps the Nigerian domestic economy. I agree with him entirely on that one, that any further devolution of the naira would not bring any benefit to the Nigerian people, whilst at the same time it makes foreigners to buy us cheaper. So he handled that issue very well.
Dr. Tunji Braithwaite, many thanks for speaking with us on the News at 10. On the News at 10 returns, Nigerians react to the new pump price for petrol, plus business news. Join us again.